Well, thank you, Congressman Tony Cardenas. Appreciate your friendship, your leadership. I'm going to talk about you in a minute here. But it's great to be with you. Big San Fernando Valley welcome to the FTA Acting Administrator, Veronica Ventripool, who brought the big check. And I won't repeat all the dignitaries that Congressman already introduced, but just know that to all my colleagues in public service, elected and otherwise, that is how we got here today. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It's taken multiple villages to get this project to where we are today. It too means a lot to me personally. We've done good policy work on transportation. We've done good legislating and appropriations on transportation and electrifying our transportation sector as part of our climate change battle. We talk on and on and on about all the merits of this project. But this, for me, as is with the congressman, is personal. Those of you who know me, a lot of you in the crowd know that I grew up not too far from here, Pacoima, California. If you look at the map, just a few dots north is where we grew up. And I'll only share a couple of stories of what it was like once upon a time riding the RTD. Before there was Metro, there was MTA. Before there was MTA, there was, well, a struggling rail system and the RTD, right, Blinky? And growing up near the intersection of Van Nuys and Laurel Canyon, you know, when you're a teenager, you had options. You take the RTD along Laurel Canyon all the way to the UA theaters in North Hollywood, or you take it along Van Nuys Boulevard to the Americana in Panorama City. Remember those days? Then I go getting a job at the Montgomery Wards. And so it's easy to get to work, right? Get off on Roscoe and just walk a block. All those sorts of things. So there's the people who take public transportation because we choose to, and there's the people who take public transportation because they have to. And from time to time, my family was in that have to category, AKA when my mom's car would break down. And she'd take that Laurel Canyon route, 162 I think it was, all the way to Ventura, and that was the terminus. So from there, she and other ladies who would clean houses in Studio City would start walking up the hill to get to work in the morning. And so I think about that when I ask myself, what would it mean to create more access, more reliability, not just more affordability, but more quality transit options for the working people of the San Fernando Valley. Now, I'm going to get a little parochial on everybody here because you've seen the map. And when we first started chatting about the need for this line, I heard things like, well, the rail system reaches the valley. Like, well, a stop at Universal may be reaching the valley, but it's not serving the valley. So yes, it has been a clear priority of mine since before I was elected to the Senate, before I was elected Secretary of State, before I was elected to the state Senate, and yes, even before I was elected to the City Council. Because prior to me serving in elected office, I had the honor of working for, once upon a time, Assemblymember Tony Cardenas, who in 1998, I know I'm dating all of us here. You guys remember when Bob Hertzberg was Speaker of the Assembly? Do you remember who he appointed to serve as chair of the Budget Committee? Those were the last flush times for the state of California in that era. And there was this idea, this vision of using some of the surplus funding under Governor Gray Davis for one-time projects, infrastructure projects. And from those conversations came the ideas of imagine a north-south something in the San Fernando Valley. Of course, Bob Hertzberg was Speaker, so we also had to talk about east-west through the then 40th Assembly District. That was 1998. Within a couple of years, we hear about this magical trip to Curitiba, Brazil. Zev Yaroslavsky, Bob Hertzberg, others were on it. And lo and behold, within a couple of years, you get the Orange Line. Dedicated, right of way, very helpful. You know, buses, flexibility, that's all good. That was a long time ago. Orange Line's been so successful, they've extended it. And Tony and I, every once in a while, we see each other and say, what about the North-South? What about the North-South? What about the North-South? So it took him getting to Congress a few years before me getting to the Senate, at my very first meeting, Miss Wiggins was, I know we have an agenda, but first I want to talk about the North-South rail line in the San Fernando Valley. And here we are. So I share that history because of what we know it means and what it has meant for a long time for the families and the businesses of the San Fernando Valley. But I also share it because I want you to join me in paying tribute to someone who has been serving for nearly 30 years, has maintained this as a priority, and I'm glad to see the funding agreement signed before he retires from public service. A big round of applause to our Congressman, Tony Cardenas. I think he wants to operate the train when he retires from Congress. So, look, well, this has been a long time waiting, and we're at this pivotal moment. This is the equivalent of a groundbreaking, right? We signed the funding agreement, now we got to deliver, no going back. We know there's still a lot of work to do. So kudos to the women and men of the building trades and others who will ensure this project is done quality, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, on time and on budget, so that the community once again derives the benefits from all this. Imagine the people of the valley giving more options to get to work, more tourists coming from other parts of the city and the region and the county to the San Fernando Valley to shop and to visit. More opportunities for everybody. That's what today is fundamentally about. And it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of so many that are represented here today. Muy brevemente quería celebrar con ustedes en español, porque hoy es un gran día para el Valle de San Fernando. Después de no años, sino décadas de esfuerzo, por fin estamos firmando el acuerdo para garantizar los fondos necesarios para construir este proyecto, para mejorar las opciones de tránsito público para las familias y los empresarios aquí en el Valle de San Fernando. Nosotros, residentes del Valle, sabemos qué significa esto. Más opciones, más acceso, más calidad en las opciones de tránsito para ir a trabajar, para ir de recreación, para salir por un fin de semana, como sea, y para recibir visitantes y turistas de otras áreas de la ciudad y del condado a las comunidades aquí del Valle de San Fernando. Es una gran inversión no solo en el sistema de tránsito, sino en nuestra calidad de vida. Y muchísimas gracias a todos los líderes, todas las agencias, todos los niveles del gobierno que han tenido que colaborar y coordinar para llegar a este punto. Muchísimas gracias